Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Recall Gaming. What's this? It's been 100 days, and you said a pretty big goodbye in that COD 4 remastered stream. I know I did, and while we're not fully bringing Recall Gaming back, just to not get you all too excited, I couldn't let all this Resident Evil hype go without joining on the party, my second favourite franchise. So, as you'll have seen from the title, we're going to be doing about roughly half an hour of Resident Evil 1, original 1996. Well, it is the director's cut, 'cause that's the version I can get on PS5. Oh, I've been waiting too long. And we're also going to do the same with the remake. I'm going to compare the first three games. As I try and skip this, rather than do that, I'll just do this. So let's get straight into the game. Standard. We're going to be watching cutscenes, and I say not going to get too far, but only being half an hour. But I'm going to talk about the game along the way, and I'm going to be drinking during this. I've got some rum and coke next to me, so by Resident Evil 3, I could be quite smashed. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Standard. And we're going to begin with the absolutely hilarious opening cutscene. We'll pick Chris Redfield for the purpose of this. Obviously, you have the choice of two characters in this game, Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. Both will become series icons. Chris in particular. I don't know what audio balancing is going to be like in this, so I apologise in advance. I have turned my microphone up, and I will talk at a decent volume to make sure we're all good. But July 1998, what a horrifying year. I was only 7 months old. Bill Clinton was president.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission. No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
It was Bravo Team's helicopter. Nobody was in it. But strangely, most of the equipment was still there. However, we soon discovered why.
Hey! Come here!
Joseph!
No! Don't go! Jill, run for that house!
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Jill, and myself. We don't know where Barry is.
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine. Barry Burton. Rebecca Chambers. Albert Wesker. Resident Evil.
So much to unpack there. I just can't. It's obviously the stories of that cutscene are well spread. For those who don't know, They just kind of got the first like American actors they could who lived in Japan. You know, I
I
think
don't know
Jill's a
what happened.
high school student, and listen to this amazing dialogue.
Barry! Where's Barry?
Well, I'm sorry, but he's probably...
No. What is that?
I'll go and check.
Okay, Jill and I will stay in the hall in case of an emergency.
Chris? Take care.
So if you didn't know, this game actually has a Guinness World Record, Guinness Book of World Record, like worst video game dialogue, and it's probably quite well earned. But here we are, Resident Evil, 1996. A lot of the series staples that are still being used in Resident Evil Requiem all start here. We have inventory with Chris Redfield. We only have 6 spaces, and that doesn't change in this one. And as we go through the games, you'll see a bit how much that changes. But 6 inventory spaces, 8 if you play as Jill. So it makes Chris's campaign a hell of a lot harder than Jill's. Now, we are using the tank controls. So basically, if I move, I can thankfully use the analog stick. When I played this years ago on the PS3 for the first time 5 years ago, I could only use the D-pad. But basically, moving just the left stick or the D-pad buttons will spin Chris. I then have to hold square to go forward, and that also makes me run. Of course, I can just go forward at normal speed. But let's encounter the first zombie with the iconic loading doors. You know, all those are loading screens, but they somehow managed to make the simple feature of a loading screen iconic. But let's encounter this legendary cutscene here. The first zombie, the first enemy in Resident Evil. Now, if you remember the Evil Within, you'll remember that they did that pretty much shot for shot. Now, we're going to leave this zombie alone. As Chris, I don't ever tend to kill this zombie until I come back. I think that is one of our Bravo squad members that has been murdered. But let's head back to Chris and Jill. Not Chris and Jill, to Jill and Wesker. And then we can sort of really properly begin the game. And 8 minutes in and we're pretty much, you know, straight into the game. I wish modern games had the same logic.
Wesker? Jill? What happened to Jill and Wesker?
But we're going to pick up Jill's gun. But there's a lot to be said for the design you see of the mansion hall. It's very much, I think... Let's see if I can remember my films and books here. Is it the Overlook Hotel it's called in The Shining? It's very much going for that aesthetic with the very bright colours. And when we get to the remake, the second half of this video, you'll see the real difference. But now the game's letting the trainer wheels off, and you're welcome to a very different era of video gaming. There's no, you know, there is a map that gets filled in as we go across, but there's no, where do I go? There's no yellow paint that we get now in video games. Thanks Last of Us and like Uncharted. But that's all gone. You know, not gone rather. It wasn't a thing. Video games just didn't give a fuck really in terms of whether you'd be able to finish them or not. Now we have the ink ribbon here. I'm not going to pick this up, but you had to pick up all these ink ribbons. If I picked this up, it'd give me 3. And then I could only save then at these typewriters that are littered throughout the game. You'll see it better here in this angle. And typewriters will remain a thing of Resident Evil, you know, right up all the way to 9. But as we go around, we're going to see that a lot of places we can't open. It's locked. A carving of armor, which means we're going to need the armor key. And this is the formula that Capcom would stick to for a long, long time. Devil May Cry would follow this until it really became a series of its own around Devil May Cry 3. And even then, the Resident Evil influence was still very much there. And I'm having trouble seeing. There we go. So we need to get that map. I mean, we don't actually have to. I'm sure Speedrunner doesn't do this. But a quick word on the music. How it's so haunting in this game. Music's a really important factor in Resident Evil. So we get this map of the first floor, which gives us a much better indication of what's going on. Let's move this out of the way. I'm going to try and stick to rooms that I know I'll be going to in the remake portion, so we can compare and contrast really well as we go through here. This is a moment that's done really well in the remake, way better than actually here. Let's ignore this zombie. I used to shoot this zombie, and that's really stupid, because you can just walk past. I think Chris actually shoved him out of the way there. We'll get a ink ribbon, more ink ribbon. So you get 3 in this game for picking them up, and in this game it is quite tight with the ink ribbons. If you're not very careful, you're going to really struggle, you know, to have, you know, saving points, because you can only save with those ink ribbons at the typewriters, which creates real tension, because if you're not careful, you can potentially get yourself in a situation where you're stuck with no ammo or supplies, no health items, and miles from your last save. Oh, we can't actually go that way yet. Sword key we need. So when you're Chris, your options are so much more limited than as Jill, because Jill has a lockpick that can open that door. So there is no sword key. She also has 8 inventory slots, as mentioned before, which makes things a hell of a lot easier. And she gets a grenade launcher like straight away here. So her campaign is so much easier. It is laughable. But I would recommend playing as Chris, because I think you just get a much more survival horror, you know, experience out of it. It's really quite something special. And even 30 years on, you know, I haven't replayed this game in 5 years, but 25 years ago, from its original release, it was amazing. So I'm sure 30 years, 5 years on, it hasn't really changed. And Chris has to pick up these small keys, which again, Jill doesn't need these, but that's more inventory slots gone. I have a pistol, a knife, and a first aid kit, and that's half my inventory gone. If I pick up this small key, which for purposes of this I will, that's almost all my inventory's gone already. So his campaign is something else, and a good friend of mine played the remake recently and has been talking about it. I mean, my inspiration to do this video is because the 2 friends who I know will be watching this have been, you know, with Resident Evil getting rid of a hype boost with RE9, you know, everyone's kind of jumping on it. But here's Forrest. He's been pecked to death by crows. Not a nice way to go. We will actually get assaulted by crows, I think. But yeah, there is a grenade. Oh, God. Crow! Hit the door. We're safe. There's a grenade launcher there in Jill's campaign, I think. So yeah, you already have it, basically, at this point. But yeah, Resident Evil, I can talk briefly now about the series and my own experience with it. It's just an amazing series. It took me a long time to get into it. I mean, everyone's got their own ranking because there's so many of these games, like which one's the favourite. So I have this game probably in the middle somewhere. It wasn't the first one I played. There's a zombie there. I might just ignore this room first. I'm going to go the other way. We need to get to save rooms. If I can get to a save room, that would be really, really good. Showcase these save room theme music. But yeah, I got to Resident Evil about 2013. Well, I tried to play this game on the PS3, and it was just too old. I just couldn't do it. I was too young as a gamer to really get enjoyment out of it, which was totally on me. I'm not slagging off, you know, the game. I love it now. I'm very much used to it, but it took some getting used to. Let's go this way. Now, you do actually have to knock this statue down. I'm obviously not going to do that, because we're not here to finish the damn game. Let's fire a gun. Now, because you have such limited ammo and zombies take a lot to go down, that guy's not dead. You are a lot better off just sort of stunning them and trying to go past, like I did there, rather than going to the effort to kill them, because I've only got 15 bullets. Well, 11 now. So, yeah, I need to be a bit careful about what I do. Now, this is one of the hardest rooms in the game, yeah. 3 damn zombies. It's quite something. And you're going to spend a lot of your time, like, trying to... I've kind of cocked this up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's turn around and get out of here. Let's reset that. And see if we can sneak past some of these guys. I mean, Chris can tank quite a few hits. I mean, the guy is massive. But... but it's incredible the dread the music creates. If you just listen here, it's... really gets you on, you know, quite unnerved. This guy kind of veers off. He's not doing it here, is he? Yeah, there we go. Nice. Dodge one. Dodge the other. This does not come naturally, by the way. That's taken me a lot of years to get used to. But 3 or 4 zombies is like the most that this game goes. And you get to RE2 and you'll see it in the next video. Man, they just up the scales. Different director and different results. Now let's go into here. We'll meet a character, get some more great dialogue. I believe it's Rebecca Chambers. Yeah, it will be.
Whoa! What is it?
What? Oh!
sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
You must be from the Bravo team.
Yes, I'm Rebecca. Rebecca Chambers. I'm a newcomer. I just joined the Stars Bravo team last month. Well, I'm really sorry. Are you all right?
Yes. I'm Chris Redfield from the Alpha team. Are you the only person here from the Bravo team?
Well, because the helicopter made a forced landing, I just ran into this house anyway, but
I see. There's nothing else you could have done anyway. It's good you're here.
Yes, sir. But it's strange. I serviced the helicopter recently, but something went wrong with the engine. It was such a short flight.
But here we are, Rebecca Chambers, and we get introduced to a few mechanics here. There is a typewriter, of course. I could save my progress. We have introduced that mechanic already. Is there any vitamins and serums? Oh, something there. What is it? Is it an ink ribbon? Ah, the sword key. So we're going to go back, because I've got to show off one room in particular, because it would be criminal if I didn't. Let's check the armor key. Oh, it's the sword key, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah, the sword key. Which gives us a few more options now. But what's incredible about Resident Evil is how open-ended it is. You kind of choose... This is probably the most open-ended the series gets. 2 and 3, despite looking more as open, a hell of a lot more linear. Let's take a clip. This is, of course, the item box, which, if you know Resident Evil, you'll know all about this. This has stayed through the franchise up to 4, and then has made a comeback recently. Let's combine that and get maximum ammunition. Excellent. And let's leave, and I think we'll chat to to Rebecca again.
What should I do now? If you go out to search for the other members, how about letting me come with you?
Let's have a look here. Will we take Rebecca with us? Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, sir. I'll do my best. I
Oh,
have to prepare something. Would you like to go ahead?
Unfortunately, Jill is not going to follow us. This is not Resident Evil 5 or 6. But yeah, let's go back the way we came. I've got to show off that sword key. Actually, I think we'll go this way. I think that'll be more interesting. Oh, shit. Oh, god damn it. So yeah, the only way to see Chris's health is by checking that, and as you can see, we are currently fine. We can just run past this dude. We can go into this door? It's locked. Let's go in here. I remember this room. This has got a really distinct colour to it. Yeah, this room always stands out to me. Run past him. Oh. Use the sword key, and let's go in. I've got to show this room off. This is one of the most iconic journal notes. But as I say, I tried to get into this game in 2013, and I couldn't really get into it. And what's interesting is when I tried to get into Resident Evil, the series was dead. The series was dead. RE6, look, whatever you think about RE6, if you want to defend it, fair enough. I don't think it is as bad as some people make out, but it did kill the franchise. There was nothing left. It really, when I got into the series, it genuinely looked like the series was done. RE7 would eventually come out 5 years later with RE Biohazard, and again, the series would get a big boom off that. And it continues to be going from strength to strength, it seems. And despite some of my issues with Requiem, Resident Evil 9, it was a hell of a fun time. And let me try. Here we go. Yeah, that's one of those jump scares. There aren't too many, but first time through, that must have scared a lot of people in the 90s. And they just make it so this guy just takes enough damage. But yeah, usually he dies there, but he's not. It makes it all pretty thrilling. And the fact is, you don't have to come in here. This is a very optional room, but it's a very memorable one because of it. Are those shotgun shells? Yeah, shotgun shells. I don't need those. Obviously, normally I'd take them, put them straight in the inventory box. But we'll read this journal because it's one of the probably more iconic ones, Keeper's Diary. You get something here about some guy playing cards, or poker specifically, actually. Usually just as cards, but I'm talking about all these monsters. Everyone always wondered, what was Umbrella's plan? Make monsters and somehow profit? Not that they're going to get out and murder us all? These researchers never rest, yeah. Annoying spacesuit. And he talks about being itchy. And not feeding the dogs. And he feels itchy again. Another big ballista. I mean, it's pretty horrifying, really, for a game that doesn't have... pretty much botches its production in terms of storytelling with those incredibly laughable live-action cutscenes. This is a moment that really sticks out because it's very well done. You know, for a game that is very silly, and the remake would really try and fix this and, for the most part, succeed. This stands out because of the whole itchy thing. Fever gone, but itchy. Hungry and ate doggy food. Itchy Scott came. Ugly face, so killed him. Tasty. Itchy, tasty. I don't know, it's unnerving in its simplicity. It is a bit like a child wrote it, you know, in terms of the whole thing. It's very simple, but it stands out massively, and it is one of the most... when I think of the original game, that really stands out, probably because it's in the opening, like, 30 minutes, as you can see. Let's go this way. I think this is the way I was going. Yes, we unlocked it. But as you can see, guys, if you're probably wondering, like, what am I supposed to be doing? I'm actually looking for 4 medallions, but... I don't know that yet. Or is it 4 medals, 4 crests? I don't know that. And I'm only going to figure that out by exploring the whole mansion and knowing what I can interact with, like this, the clock. That's actually something we need to interact with. Or do you have to put the crest in and then that changes it? You get the clock handle and that lets you do something. It's an incredibly labyrinth of puzzles and traversing to do. And it is undoubtedly brilliant still 30 years on. But as I say, with Resident Evil getting all this hype, I couldn't have my Recall Gaming channel and not jump on it just a little bit. So this idea very much came to my head, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But I've got to show this. I couldn't get the 30 minutes up and not show this room. Yeah, the sword key. So apparently Danny Boyle was actually inspired to do... not to do the whole film, but a big inspiration of 28 Days Later come from this room, and some people will already know exactly what's going to happen here. So as we keep moving forward, it just seems like a normal hallway, and you'll see what I mean. Even though it's not a zombie, it's a dog. Spoiler, that gets the horror out of us. But the whole speed and emergency that comes from the situation. But here we go. We're walking. Oh shit! I think that is in the top 10 Resident Evil jump scares. When you first play that, everyone screams. Everyone gets a little jump. And this unique camera angle, you never get this again. As Chris is puzzled by what's going on. But, yeah, that is a moment that really stands out. Apparently Danny Boyle was watching his friend play it, I think. I don't think he played it. And he was like, wow, that was cool. And I think that very much inspired the speed of the zombies in 28 Days Later. I don't know how wrong I am with that, but I have read that Danny Boyle did have a lot, he looked at that and thought, damn, that was cool. I would like to try and get that feeling in a film for, 80 to 90 minutes. We're not going to go in here because this is a death trap. If you're Jill, Barry will save you when you get stuck in that room and the ceiling's coming to crush you, and you'll get the famous Jill sandwich line. But with Chris, we have no such help, so we have to be a bit more careful. We have to find a fake shotgun to put in place of the real one. Whoa, where the hell am I here? Man, the zombies are... I'm trying to remember now where I am a bit. I think we're actually coming up to one of the first medals that we actually need. I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to go back on myself. And I'm going to see if I can get to the save room in... I might struggle in 3 minutes. But... yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this quick look of Resident Evil 1. And if you're tempted to play this at all, it is available on the PS5. Despite Capcom's best attempts to make this series not playable, they don't like the originals. They've kind of come out and said that. The remakes have very much had to replace them, which is a real travesty. And they want to replace that 2002 one as well, which is really sad, because it's brilliant. But that's just the way video games go now. But this game is still worthy, and you can play it on PS5, and we don't have the dodgy music of the DualShock version, and you can use the analog sticks, which you couldn't on PS3, in Europe at least. Trust Europe to be backwards again as normal. But yeah, let's just go up the stairs. And you're going to see in the next second half of this video just how different the mansion looks and feels, and how far 6 years in video games took us to the GameCube at the time. The version we'll be playing, obviously, is the HD re-release in 2015, which again was a big push. The success of that game very much pushed the direction for RE7. I think Capcom kind of used that as a teaser, or just like, I think they wanted to know if people liked that, could we get away with doing, you know, kind of just wanted to run past. Let's go. I think they were very much like, well, if that succeeds, we can make a proper survival horror game. And I'll talk more about that in the remake, which will be coming up to shortly. I've actually gone the wrong way, haven't I? I didn't want to go this way, I don't believe. No, I didn't. I went the wrong way. We've been here before. But this is what your first time through playing the game is like. You are just fumbling from room to room, and it is very much the key of Resident Evil. And as I say, if you play Onimusha, Devil May Cry to a big extent, that's kind of the theme they'd go with for some time. Let's run past him. I think this is one of them rooms you just never end up killing the zombies in, to be fair. But yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, let's end back in the mansion main area. I think that'll add quite nice and end of bit cohesion to the video. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And when I next see you, it'll be 2002, not 1996. Which means I'll have actually been a person by then, because I was actually born after this game come out. There's not many video games that I can play now that that's the case. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a moment, and it'll be a big upgrade. So see you in 6 years. And just like that, guys, 6 years has passed. This is Resident Evil Origins Collection. Let's get straight to Resident Evil 2002. And you're going to see how the series becomes kind of classic, which was an amazing game, big success, but the atmosphere and the setting and everything about this game is just ramped up to 11. Shinji Mikami made the first game, and 6 years later he'd come back to have another go at it in this one. And then he'd go and make the awesome Resident Evil 4, and just completely change video gaming. One of my favourite video game directors out there. But here you are, Resident Evil... Well, just that, I was going to add a name onto it, but yeah, Resident Evil, again. When people say the name Remake, I think for a lot of video gamers, and myself included, this is what comes to mind. You always think Resident Evil Remake, because the thing is, in 2002, it's not like now, not every game was getting a remake. It was quite an unusual thing. The GameCube, funnily enough, it sort of became the remake generation, though, because you had... Well, let's turn these down, give myself a bit more space to be heard. Hopefully I don't get this too quiet. Hopefully that's just about right. I'm taking a bit of a gamble.
Resident Evil.
Of course, we've got to have the title guy. Please, Capcom, bring that back. Patch it in to Resident Evil 8 and 7 and get it in 9 as well. We all want to hear the, title announcer. Now, how about this for difficulty? The game's asking me, do I like going up a mountain? I will pick that one. That's normal. Basically, it's normal, easy, and very easy. They could have just said that, couldn't they? Because I always assumed the middle one wasn't. Because this is the updated version, we have some cool outfits. We got Resident Evil 5 outfits. I'm going to pick Chris again to keep some continuity with the last video. Now, if you remember Requiem, when you press new game, you got a screen very similar to that, by the way, which is very cool. But straight in, we're going to see that opening cutscene again, and you're going to see how much better it was done. So, yeah, something to quite behold this. As I'll shut up again.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone, situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
Haven't found it yet?
No, not yet, Brad. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris.
Bravo Team's helicopter was a derelict. Save for the remaining body of Kevin. We continued our search for the other members, and it turned into a nightmare. Chris, this way. Damn it! Make for that mansion! There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Jill, and myself. We don't know where Barry is.
Is everyone all right?
Barry. Where's Barry?
He's...
No. What was that?
I'll go and check it out.
All right. Jill and I will stay and secure this area.
Chris? Take care.
Yeah.
And wow, what 6 years can do to a game in terms of atmosphere, setting, everything. Now, one of the first things you'll note, kind of got used to, a bit more clunky this one. Well, not more clunky, but movement has a lot more weight. Chris again has only 6 item slots. Ink ribbons are required as normal, as we know. This time I'll actually take it. The controls are pretty much the same, I believe. How do you access the menu, though? As I fumble through the controls. That is obviously that. Triangle. Triangle gets up the menu. That's good. But yeah, you'll notice we don't look like the Overlook Hotel. We look like European Gothic horror. It's a total different change. We've got a storm outside. Probably stuff that Shinji Mikami... I mean, I'm not sure about the colour scheme, but stuff like the storm is probably something they very much wanted in that original. And this is very faithful to the original, but with quite a few different changes. The map has just been slightly reworked, which means if you're a new player coming back, it's just... There's so much more going on that's brilliant. Just head down that way. Yeah, like you've got something. There was nothing here. You've got a lift in this game, and some stairs going down. None of this in the original. So they've just slightly reworked it so that if you're a new player, there's plenty of surprises in store for you. But let's keep heading down as I walk into the wall. And let's encounter the first zombie again. And man, they do that moment just as good. And there's actually a hallway that way this time. But again, we're going to run away. But yeah, RE Remake has got to be one of the top 3 games of anybody that's played the series. This is right up there as one of the best. The voice actor for Leon currently, who's done the remakes of 2, 4, and 9, he had this in his top 3, I believe. There's a typewriter here, which there wasn't in the original, so there's a slight change. So you can use an ink ribbon. And this is how saving would work for the longest time. I do have save data there. It's probably the only Resident Evil where that's the case. But let's head back into the main hall and link up with Jill and Wesker, hopefully.
Wesker? Jill? Where did they go?
So while the voice acting is not quite Metal Gear Solid or like Last of Us levels, it's huge improvement, obviously. Let's equip the handgun, then we've got it. It's L1 in this one, right? Got it. Needs to remember that. But one thing to notice, you'll see none of this was here in the original, so this is a whole new area. And yeah, this is how you do a remake right. You know, you're not going to meet many people who tell you that Resident Evil 1996 is better than this game. You know, whereas RE2 and 3 are certainly with 3. And with 2, you'll get quite a bit of debate. In this game, you're not likely to run into many people. You're not going to find many people that slag off 1. But again, they're not going to find many people that think that this game is worse than the original. You know, this is how you do a remake right. I'm trying to remember, is there the little stairs? Let's move this out of the way. So of course, you'll all remember this area quite well. Yeah, I think we have to use this to get up. There's no stairs like last time. Chris doesn't quite have his boulder muscles just yet. As you can see, we can climb up here. It's a little bit different to how it worked in the original. There's the map. And the map's really handy because it shows you what rooms you've cleared. This is something the RE2 remake would take as well. As you can see, red means that there's still stuff to be found. If it's green, you've got everything. It's a little bit... It's not a cheat by any... You know, you're still going to have to look and find this stuff, but it can just help you figure out if you get a little bit stuck. It's not like a... Here's how you beat the game, though. But look how much they've reworked these areas. And as I say, I'm expecting a zombie. There's no zombie here. But there is a knife. A dagger, in fact, that doesn't go in my inventory. And we have defensive items. So, in this game, when you get grabbed, you can choose to use a defensive item if it's from the front. Not something that's too... You gotta use L2, yeah. We better... Is it equipped? It's equipped. We only have one. And you can have a few things like a grenade. But anyway, let's head back. But here we go. The camera doesn't change and instead zombie. We've got a zombie heading for us. It's a great little tutorial on how to use the defensive item. Okay, well, how do you shoot? Fuck, I'm forgetting buttons, man. This is embarrassing. L2 though, let's stab this sucker. But yeah, it's a great little way of getting you to learn the controls. So we can't go that way. Emblem of a sword. I don't think a lot of that changes. But yeah, it's an awesome redo of a moment, because if you're a new player, you're just getting scared anyway. But, you know, for returning players like myself, it's like, wow, that was not what I was expecting, and it just lets you know that this remake is not pulling any punches. You're still going to be getting scared. And now we have a door here in the main central bit. It's really trippy when you go back to the original, because it's just so reworked. And I say, straight outside, none of this in the original. And we got a zombie here. I'm gonna take him out. Now, it's really important that you don't kill zombies so much in this one, because, whoa, what the hell is that? That is a weird looking zombie. So here we have an indentation, so we need to find that. That gives us some indication of what we're looking for around here. As we walk past him, we're going to have to walk past this dude as well. RE Remake is probably one of the harder games in the franchise. I think certainly. They definitely get that difficulty a bit more upped. Remake, RE3 Original. I've not played Zero, but I hear that that's really seen as one. You'll also note, by the way, just a segue, we don't have to have a loading screen for stairs, which is very much appreciated. And we can cut straight across the hallway here, which is very cool. Just little elements that they couldn't really do back in the day. And there's an extra door here, because this will put us above that room just below us, the dining hall, which you'll recognise in a moment here. Yeah. I'm just going to ignore that for now. But I believe this is the first Resident Evil that I ever completed. Admittedly, with a lot of help from YouTube. I would like to, my whole plan this year is to replay for the entire Resident Evil series. I've got to do Yakuza 0, because I'm meaning to finish that for ages, and I'm finally putting some good time into it. We can't go in there this time. And then I need to get back on Death Stranding 2 and finish it, because they're new games that I need to do. Oh, so we can only go one way. We're already being a lot more directed in this game than the last one. I'm actually going to go a different way. Because, as I showed you earlier, we've got some different options where that original zombie was. 9 bullets. We're not rocking with a lot of ammo already, though. And but yeah, I want to finish those games, and then I'm going from the bottom to the top. I'm going RE1, 1996. I'm doing Chris and Jill back to back. Then RE2, I'm going to do all the 4 scenarios, which I'll talk about in that video. And then RE3, just one playthrough, because there's not too much for that one. Code Veronica, Resident Evil Survivor. I'm doing all the shitty spin-offs. I've bought Survivor and Gun Survivor 2 for money that I will never admit to, because it was far too much on eBay. Zombie here there. Has he moved? Because he wasn't there last time. He was here. Yeah, he's moved. Kenneth. So he should have... Oh. He has a video. I can't remember that. It's ages since I played this. So has he got no ammo? Because in the original he's got like loads of ammo on him. Oh, fuck you, game. I'm going to go this way. I'm not quite sure where this leads to. But obviously this isn't here. Off memory in the original. No, it isn't, because we literally just saw it. Some cool camera angles. I think we'll get a burst of lightning here, won't we? So yeah, we can get straight to a save room early here. A zombie there. I'm actually wrong about that. So here's a green herb. I didn't get to show any of this in the original, but green herbs are your healing items. You can combine them with red ones to make them stronger. And I think, is there also a blue one for poison? So that's something that stayed with the series right throughout. But yeah, just these tense moments of just going through the mansion. It's really something. And right now I'm very much back in how I played this back, when I completed this in 2016. I'm kind of lost. I'm just going through it. Ah, this zombie. This zombie is one of the first Crimson Heads. And I don't think I got to finish my point earlier. Zombies that you leave will come back. Not just as zombies, but as much bigger ones called Crimson Heads. So any zombies you kill, you need to be burning, or they're going to fuck your playthrough up. First-time players are always hilarious to watch because, yeah, they'll just let that shit happen to them and not realise what they've done, basically. Is that a key, or do we need... Ah, there's a key. So, find peace in death. Yeah, which is a very ominous phrase, isn't it? I'm going to take the key. I'm going to take the risk that I could die at any moment. This could be really bad. Can I put the key back? Oh shit, I'm going to die. I don't know what to do here. Oh, fuck. Well, never mind. How about that? That's this game. It's I'm not very good at it, but it's brutal. And there you go. You are dead. Wow. I don't really know what you meant to do there. I'm trying to remember. That's what I mean, though. This game's got traps all over. So did the original. It's got the shotgun, but it's a lot more obvious. So, yeah, I'm going to have to actually start the game.
Resident Evil.
What I'll do is I'll boot up as Jill, so we got a little bit more to open, because I've still got time to kill. Yeah. Wow, I didn't expect that. That was not part of the plan. We'll go with Jill. Just because Jill has the lockpick, it'll make it a lot easier. Wow. Thankfully I can skip the opening cutscene and all that jazz. But yeah, any zombies you don't burn will come back as Crimson Heads, and they are just, like, impossible to kill. They're an absolute nightmare. So, we don't really want to be messing with them. And RE9 brought them back, and RE4 Remake did as well a little bit, which I was less fond of. They did them well in RE9, though. They were called Blister Heads in that one, weren't they? So, let's go forward. We've got barriers in this one. Already get a lot easier game, but... And yeah, it stays true the same that it's a lot easier with Barry, with Jill's campaign than in Chris's. But as I say, I'm doing all the Resident Evils, guys. I can't wait to do it all this summer, this year. You know, even them shitty Gun Survivor games that I've spent not 3 figures on, but it's a lot of money for Gun Survivor 2. And I don't know why.
Jill, see if you can find any other clues. I'll be examining this. Let's just hope it's not Chris's.
Yeah, you've got to wonder... How do you examine blood for that long? He's not Dexter Morgan, is he? But apparently he is. But yeah, Resident Evil seems to be the big hype train, the big meme this year. Is it going to be Dokes in Dexter last year? That was certainly the meme of 2025. But in a different format to what it was like 10 years ago, where it was the surprise motherfucker thing. And also Jill is... Oh man, Jill's probably certainly my favourite female character in Resident Evil. Capcom release her from the basement that you've kept her hidden in. So one thing you'll notice, I've got a gun already. 8 slots, and even better, this zombie doesn't bother me again because I can do this when running away.
Barry!
What is it?
Look out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of it. What the hell is this thing?
I found Kenneth killed by this thing. Let's report this to Wesker.
But yeah, already slightly, again, makes it a lot easier. That happens in the original as well. So you can get rid of that zombie pretty quick. Oh. Yes, that doesn't happen in the original. How creepy is that? The fact the zombie gets back up and leaves the room. They just nailed it with this remake. Incredible. No remake's ever got it right quite like this again. Even RE2 Remake, which does some good stuff.
Jill, help me look for him. Let's not leave this hall.
Good idea.
But yeah, you can see how different this one is already because, when you play as Jill, because you have got Barry with you quite a bit more. Again, this isn't RE5 and 6, and he's not with you for that long. The majority of the game, like 90% of it, is still on your own, but yeah, it definitely changes it a bit. This is always quite an hilarious moment, though. You're just searching randomly. Better finish searching the hall. But yeah, whichever campaign you prefer, I don't know, I think they're both got their merits, both Chris and Jill.
Barry.
As we fail to find Wesker.
Jill?
No, nothing. What's going on around here? I can't figure it out.
Same here.
Chris, and now Wesker.
There's not much we can do. We can search for him separately. I'll investigate the dining room again.
Okay then, I'll try the door on the other side.
This mansion is gigantic. We could easily get lost. Let's start from the first floor.
Okay.
Oh! I almost forgot. It's a lockpick. You'd make better use of it.
So Jill gets the lockpick, which means we don't need a sword key.
Listen, if something happens,
makes it a lot
meet up
easier.
in this hall. Got it?
Okay.
But yeah, and I say you get a little bit more direction because the game's like, oh, we'll stick to the first floor, and you can do that because we've got the sword key, essentially, with the lockpick. All in all, makes Jill's a lot more easier, and it also gives you a hell of a lot more options when you can get the armor key pretty quick, which we got but died, and get the sword key straight away. Oh, you do have the sword key. What am I chatting about then? What am I on about? I haven't a clue what's going on. I guess the lockpick doesn't do the sword key. It does in the original. As we're going to have to do this moment again. It's hilarious how Resident Evil has like 6 endings, and nobody knows which one the canon is, because both endings contradict each other, the best ones. But they both have to have existed at the same time. Always quite an hilarious moment, that. Let's deal with this zombie. I don't have to shoot this time. I might be able to deal with it. Yeah, I don't think you can actually get that guy quick enough. I'm not going to bother getting the map because there's no point. As we're coming to the end of this video. But hopefully you enjoyed the showcase of the first 25 minutes, close to half an hour of the original game. Emblem of a helmet. Let's say, hopefully it just gives you a bit more appreciation of what these original games were like. And as I say, next video I do will be RE2, and you're going to see an even bigger leap, you know, in graphics in terms of production. But this game, in 2002, looks absolutely phenomenal, even all these years on. They just knocked it out of the park. It really did look a generation ahead of its time, possibly almost even two, because because they used the camera perspective, which we really talked about, which is criminal. They were able to use pre-rendered backgrounds, which meant that, you know, they basically just still images, PNGs. It means you can't do a right lot with them because there isn't much to them, but it means you can create a pretty, you know, a pretty incredibly good-looking game that, you know, will stand the test of time, like this game has done. 2 doors here. Again, all little changes that they made for this game just to make it the best they bloody well could. Locked, so we can't even go that way. There's a red gem here, a blue gem, which we do need. There's only one zombie here as well, so they give you a little bit more room to maneuver. Which is very gracious of them. I think I'm coming to a point though now where we're a little bit... I don't really know where to go, so... And I'm not here to explore the whole damn game, just to showcase it a little bit. So I think what we'll do is... I'll leave it here. Hopefully you guys very much enjoyed it. I know I did. It was a lot of fun. One thing you can do this in the original as well. You can try and open this door. And what's really cool... Yeah. In the original, if you do that, Jill just gets scared by the door. And they say in this one... They let them dogs in. Just to horrify you even more. Really nice stuff. But yeah, incredible video game. If you get the opportunity to play this, try and persist with those controls, as tricky as they are, tank controls and the fixed cameras. You're gonna really enjoy it. It's a fantastic game. But yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Hope you enjoyed Recall Gaming's little comeback. I'll see you next time in Raccoon City for the big outbreak in Resident Evil 2. You take care now.